It's in-wheel time, your home for entertaining car talk. Just ahead, Sweet Rides creator Marc Rancourt. He's coming up. I had the pleasure of driving the 2022 Cadillac CT5-V Blackwing. And I'll tell you my thoughts on it. You'll want to know. Conrad has the cruise-in calendar, and This Week in Auto History is coming up as well. Plus, we'll have the stories making car news this week. Just ahead on today's In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on our weekly live broadcast. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you. And
oh, great. But we wanted to get Mars in the shot instead of just kind of half.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, and there's only half of you in there, so you need to move over closer to. Why don't you guys just move down a little bit?
We changed cameras, so we're a little cattywampus.
Great.
We could be Tweedledee and Tweedledummer.
It's good because y'all are sitting on that side of the table. I've got my own little thing going on over here.
And I'm caught in a corner over here.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Crossfire.
All right. Let's jump over to the northwest part of the county. I think it's in Harris County, but I'm not quite sure.
No, Montgomery County.
Is it Montgomery County?
I believe so.
I'm going to call him Magellan.
So let's go to Mr. Marc Rancourt. And he is our man about town at a company called Sweet Rides.
Mm-hmm. And yes, they are.
They are. Hi, Marky. How are you? It's good to see you.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Well, very well. Are you at home or are you at the... Oh, no, you're at home.
He's at home.
Yeah, I'm at home.
It's Saturday.
And it's cold out there at Sweet Rides because he's too cheap.
Yes.
He's too cheap to put heat in the damned office out there.
Oh, boy. Oh, no.
We love you, Mark. You know we're going to tease you.
Yeah, that's good.
It is good. And I assume that work is good.
Very busy. Been very, very fortunate.
Well, that fortune that you claim is actually because you do hard work and you do great work out there at Sweet Rides.
Earned the reputation.
Yeah. And
we thank you guys.
Yeah. Well, Mark was kind enough to take on a project for me several years ago in a 1966 Corvair. And I still get compliments. Hey, man, you still got the Corvair? No, I got rid of the Corvair. Man, that was really a nice car. Dale Hultquist put the interior in it, the houndstooth interior, and Mark did the exterior. And Mark told me, and I'll never forget this, and I still use your words exactly, and that is, Don, we are not putting stickers on the car. Those were your words exactly. Do you remember that conversation?
Yep. Yes, sir, I do.
How often do you have that with other clients?
Very little, be honest with you. I mean, a lot of them, like on the Mopars, it's all a satin black. So, you don't really have stickers or decals per se. Now on this 71 Roadrunner we're doing right now, we're going to paint the strobes going over the back of the roof.
Okay.
Where typically back in the day, they would have been a decal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all of those cars back in the day were, as you call them, decals, or like I like to refer to them now as stickers. But they were, because it sped up production, because having to run it through the paint booth to put stripes on it didn't make any sense at the factory.
Well, yeah, and that was the, GTO Judge. Those were stickers that made it the Judge, as well as some other stuff. Mm-hmm. My Rally, all that color is all stickers. Not very little of it back then was paint. But,
right.
There's a cost involved in time in production.
Yeah, I know.
Well, plus quality.
Well, yeah, because like Mark laid out those stripes beautifully on that Corvair, and everybody went, "Wow, that looks real good." Well, thank you to Marc Rancourt for doing that. So
thanks for giving us the opportunity.
Well, it was a great deal, and you know what? It solidified a relationship that we've had with you now since then, and you've become a good friend, and we appreciate your work, and we also appreciate you as a person, because we have garnered some friendships on this show. Dale Hultquist, yourself. there's a bunch of them that we continually talk to because we like to. You guys are very talented at what you do. I don't know anything about paint and body work. And to see some of the work that Mark does, I remember my last visit out there, he had a Mustang, and he said to me, we shouldn't have taken this on. But he basically replaced everything from the firewall forward. And it was an absolute mess when I saw it.
Was it a mess because of collision or from corrosion?
Just corrosion. The frame rails were corroded out.
Oh, wow.
So, and then the upper rails were corroded. I mean, it was pretty rough.
And was it worth restoring because of the uniqueness of it, or was it more of an emotional restoration?
I think for the customer, it's more of an emotional gig. But it's kind of like anything. Is anything worth restoring? But it's all up to that person that wants that vehicle. Right. So in my mind, no, it wasn't cost effective to do it. But if that's what the customer wants us to do, then that's what we're going to do.
But Mark, on that note, I'm glad you brought that up, because the Corvair that you did, it looked horrible with that god-awful original Aztec bronze paint job on it. That had been sitting out in the sun for decades. It was just awful. Matter of fact, it was so faded, it looked like primer red in places. It was just bad. And Mark says, well, let me take a look at it. And as you saw, it didn't have any rust on it except for the upper cowl, which I even brought you the replacement piece, and you tacked that in there. And that car was in really pretty good shape as far as the body was concerned.
Yes, it was solid. It was a nice car.
Yeah, it had whiskey dents in it, that kind of stuff.
And luckily none when you were finished with it.
None. It was beautiful.
So what other kind of toys do you have in the shop right now?
We've got a 68 Firebird that we're trying to get. It's just about ready to go down into the paint shop. It's going to have a supercharged LS motor in it, and it's got a lot of custom fab work underneath the hood. Rear bumpers tucked in, custom made a spoiler for it. So that's going to be one of our big prides. I got a 67 GTO going on right now, but that's going to be more of an all original build for the most part. And then got that 71 Roadrunner that we're doing, which is, I like it because it's different. It's not your typical Camaros but this thing's going to get a Hellcat motor.
Oh, wow. Plus, it's that big B-body car that's, kind of rounded off by then.
Yes. Yeah. So I like it because it's different. And that's sometimes different is cool, because when you start doing the same things over and over and over, it just becomes repetitious. And it's almost like you're doing the same builds, but you're adding little touches here and there to each customer to give them something a little different.
Have you had any other Corvairs since mine?
No. Now, there was a gentleman that knew you, and he came, and he doesn't live too far from the shop, and he came by about a month ago, and we looked at his Corvair, and it was all corroded down the front, underneath the front bumper there, all the way across the front. He didn't know if he was going to keep the car or sell it. I think the gentleman worked for Toyota, so I think you know him. But he was debating whether he wanted to put the monies into the vehicle.
Mark, what do you have in your stable, your personal stable of cars?
I've got a 67 Camaro numbers matching 396 AC car.
That's
which
yours.
is
Don's smiling over here.
Yeah, it's a pretty rare car. A lot of people can't believe I drive it, but that's what you have a car for, is you drive it.
Absolutely, I'm with you, brother. We don't trailer stuff around these parts.
Is it a 4-speed or automatic?
I'm sorry?
4-speed or an automatic?
Oh, it's 4-speed. So
How
it's
odd air and a 4-speed car together. Sometimes that didn't.
And
pair
a big
well.
block.
Well, yeah, that didn't. Yeah.
So it's got the 373 gears. I mean, it's it'll scoot pretty good.
Short distances. It doesn't like 75 miles an hour down the highway.
Yeah, and it is screaming. I've thought about changing out I'm probably going to change out the rear gear to a, in early high or like a high third 300s.
Either that or put a gear vendor's overdrive on it.
Yeah, I don't want to do that, because then I'm taking away the numbers matching. That I'm modifying it. I could put a 5-speed in it, but I don't want to do that.
No, yeah.
I don't want to modify the car any for what it is.
Or you could just sell it to Don.
No.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. I listen. I really appreciate the thought, but pretty much out of business when it comes to that.
So what do you have for a daily driver?
Oh, I drive a Toyota Tundra.
Have you seen the newest one?
No, I have not.
Hey.
That I have not. I haven't really had time to pay attention to much of any of the new cars, especially since, the sale of the other shop that I had. But, I stay pretty busy out here in Magnolia, so I don't have time to really pay much attention to the new stuff coming out.
Yeah, one of my workmates, Ryan, he's got a Tundra 1794, whatever it is.
Yes, the top of the line.
And he really likes it. He loves it. Other than it's a bit of a gas hog, but he had a chance a couple of weeks ago to drive one of the newest Tundras that came in up in College Station at the Toyota store. He was very, very impressed.
Oh, good. I like mine. I mean, mine's a 14, but I've only got 45,000 miles on it, so I'm pretty happy with it.
I'm sure somebody'd give you what you paid for it right now on the used car lot.
The used car market is insane. But mine, I rebuilt it. It was a total loss. So, for the monies I have into it, could I get out of it? Yes.
But you don't want to.
Is it? I don't want to. I mean, that's, mine is, I haven't bought a brand new vehicle in a long time. So especially when I had my collision shop, I'd take a newer vehicle and fix it. And if I have a salvage title that had a salvage title, I didn't care because I drove them into the ground.
Why not? Yeah.
That's what you get them for.
Let me ask you something. Let's go back to the criteria that you use as to what cars that you will take on, because I know that you're busy enough where you can say, I'll be more than happy to work on your car, or this car is really not in my bailiwick. You just need to take it to a collision shop, or you need to trade it in or send it to the junkyard. What kind of criteria do you use when you're looking over a car to see whether or not you want to take on the project? Because it's that. I mean, that car could be at your shop for a year or even longer as you're restoring it.
Yeah, absolutely. The criteria basically would be does the customer want to put the monies into the vehicle? Obviously any restoration shop out there will work on just about everything. So you got to make sure that, one, the customer is into the build, or if they want to put the monies into it, and how much they have to have or want that car. So if it's a car and somebody comes up and just says, hey, I just want an old car, well, you got to find out what kind of old car you want. What turns out, what pulls your strings. If it doesn't pull your strings, don't put the monies into it. And if you're not ready to build a project and spend the monies on it, then it's not worth your time. We had a gentleman, I got a little Fiat coming in, but it's a collision job. So, and we're finishing up a 5-window collision job, so we're doing some insurance, some old classic collision too, on top of that. Well, so this 5-window that's a collision job, he wanted to paint the rest of the vehicle, and I kind of guesstimated a number for him, and he kind of, his mouth hit the floor. But, because he bought the vehicle already done.
Yeah.
Oh.
So do folks come to you with nothing in hand and say, find me this ABC vehicle to work on and fix for me, or do they come, with a vehicle already?
Yeah, usually they have them already. I did have a gentleman come back, and he wanted an old car. He retired, and he wanted an old car. He just didn't know what he wanted. So I told him a few options he could do, but he'd have to look around and do the research and find that car that he really, really wanted to have, not just buying anything. And he had to be careful with what he purchased, because there are some scammers out there that can make it look good for 6 months, and after 6 months the car starts falling apart.
Let me ask you this: would you hire yourself out to go someplace with me, for instance? We go to the Mecum auction, and you and I look around, and I say, Mark, I really like that car. What do you think about it, and how much would it cost me to get it up to the standard that I want? Because, it looks like it's got a little rust in the floorboard. It needs new pans down there, whatever the case may be. And you could say, Don, this would be something that I think that I could fix for you, and we could make it a reasonable build that wouldn't cost me a fortune like that Mustang that you had in there.
Are we back to the Corvair again?
No, we're not. So, but you follow what I'm saying?
Are you available to hire?
Yeah, I mean, I could go down there, and there are times that I have, not all the time, but I do go to customers' houses to look at vehicles if I have the time to do that. But then, but you got to figure sometimes that's 2-3 hours of the day, going over the vehicle with the customer and telling them what I need to know what their expectations are and what their expectation, what the final build is, what they're looking to do.
Right.
So it's kind of almost like an interview process, and make sure that they want to put the money into the car and, let them understand of what it's going to take to go through this vehicle.
Yeah, depending on how far they want to go, depending on how tall that pile of cash needs to be.
Sure.
To serve it, to take care of the car.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and you want to make sure that you're giving the customer what their final expectation is.
Well, I mean, there is a difference between restorations. I got to meet Mark through Randy Borcherding. Oh. Randy Borcherding was my first contact because I didn't know anybody in town that did custom car work, paint jobs and stuff like that on a 1966 Corvair. And Randy says, Don, you can't afford me because that car isn't worth enough money for the amount of money that it would take me to rebuild this car. He says, but I have a friend of mine that deals with cars like what you're looking at and this Corvair, and turned me on to Mark. And Mark and I hit it off, and I took the car over there to him, and he says, let me look at it. And so he got underneath it, looked at it. I told him, I said, I've been underneath the car, and there's really no rust except up underneath that cowl panel up underneath the front windshield. And he said, yeah, I think I'd be able to help you out on this. And that's how we came to an agreement to have him do the car.
Well, and from where your old collision center was, to Borcherding's backyard SEMA building shop, probably throw a couple of rocks and you could hit his building.
Yeah, he was only a few miles down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, there are different quality, different types of builds when you get into these custom restorations.
Depends on how big that pile of money is.
Yeah, that's
Randy's going to be a huge pile of money, but he's also going to be a 2-year build.
Well, yes, there's that.
Where Mark is going to adjust based on his interview with you what you want in the car, and then kind of give you an idea of how big that pile of money is.
Well, remember, I brought him a Corvair. Who does a Corvair?
You.
To the point that Mark brought it up to. I mean, there are not too many of them.
And now it's in a collection.
It is in a collection, but they just don't. They don't want to put that kind of money into a Corvair because it doesn't have some big engine in it, or it wasn't. It was special to Ralph Nader, but that was about it.
It was special to you too, because in that interview process, Mark's talking about is he gets to learn the emotional connection with the vehicle, and yours was extremely emotional.
Well, kind of, because my first real car that I bought with my own money was a '65 Corvair. And I bought it through Richardson Chevrolet, where I was working at the time. But after that, that Corvair thing just went away for decades. And then a friend of mine said, hey, man, I've got a Corvair. I know you used to be in Corvairs, and it's all original. Would you be interested in it? I said, yeah, I'd be interested in it. Because at the time, I was dumb enough to say, yeah, I would be.
Well,
and it wasn't dumb. I enjoyed the process, and Mark made it easy. And
that's part of the key too, is being in the hands of somebody you can trust to walk you through it correctly, and not because how many times do you get into somebody else's car that's been worked on by 4 or 5 other shops,
I was thinking that
and
too.
You have to correct it.
Yeah.
Well, and we got 3 in there right now from other shops.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate for the customers that happens.
Yeah, because it's money out of their pocket.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because you have to go back and fix another shop's mistakes.
And depending on how bad that mistake was, what it takes to fix it.
And then Mark is the last one in line with this because he's going to get it done and get it done right.
Right,
And
that's
going to
correct.
be no more fiddling with it.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is Mark is going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Don, that car is going to cost you $34,000.57. I can't do it for any cheaper than that. And if you want it done right, I'll do it for that. But I'm not going to do it any other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the other nice thing. You need to have somebody that is going to be honest with you and upfront with you and tell you how the cow ate the cabbage, so to speak.
How the cow ate the cabbage.
You should write that down.
That's something from my mother, so shut up.
I am going to write that down.
Yeah, of course you will. So, Marky, what are you looking forward to in 2022?
Hopefully that this is a really good year for Sweet Rides. We've added a couple more employees, so I've got a pretty good crew now, and I'm hoping to really do a breakout with Sweet Rides and get things done in a timely manner.
Well, I know that the last time that we talked that was an issue, that you had more work than you had employees, and not that anybody had quit. The work just grew. And so that speaks volumes for you.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate. Of course, this last week with this ugly weather, it didn't help us at all. It puts everything in a bind.
Yeah.
But, hopefully once some nice warmer weather comes up, we can really start plugging away pretty hard.
Marky, it's always good to catch up with you, and it's good to see you again. Stay healthy, and we will catch up with you again soon. If you got any news for us, be sure and give us a ring.
Yes, sir, will do. Thank you guys very much for having me on.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Take care.
Sweet
Marc
Rides.
Rancourt, Sweet Rides, yep. Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for the Cruise In calendar. And Craig has got his Chrome and Coffee coming up tomorrow.
Correct. And that's down here at Avalon Diner, which is the south direction of US 59 at 90 on the South Side Service Road, just before you get to 90.
Yeah, it's easy.
And Saturday, February 19th, Hemi Hideout's going to be open.
All right.
9:30 to 11. Please, no guest under the age of 12. They will be asking for a $10 cash donation, and John will match that to local charities out there, and they do a very nice job. Call and make a reservation ahead to attend, 713-825-2555 with your name and guest count. And again, nobody under 12. And if you wonder why nobody under 12, when you're there, you'll completely understand, because a lot of beautiful, fragile stuff. February 18th is the Winter Conroe Swap Meet and Car Corral. February 25th is Lone Star Throwdown at the Lone Star Convention Center.
Yep.
February 26th in Nederland, Texas at the Mid-County Baptist Church.
What?
The hot dogs, hot rods, and fellowship on 226 starts at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And bring your own.
Mars, are you involved in that?
Bring your own casserole.
Of course you're not. Bring your own. Did it say that?
Bring your own casserole.
Bring your own
Hey,
casserole.
it's at the Baptist church. They're going to
That's
bring
right.
your own
Everybody's got
casserole.
to bring something.
Oh, Lord.
How about a fruit cake? Can I bring a
And
fruit
then
cake?
the classic car stampede is March 12th, and that's in Belleville.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Time now for this hour's car review. Had a chance to drive, and still driving today, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. The 2022 Cadillac CT5-V.
Conrad had beans this morning.
Here, let's just go ahead and cut all that crap off over there, because that's going to kill me here. This is the CT5, which you can get in a 4 or 6 cylinder as well, but it's not the CT5V. I had the V Blackwing, which is the supercharged V8 engine from General Motors. Mid-size sedan, seats 4 passengers. 4. Well, the driver and 3 passengers. How's that? It replaces the Cadillac CTS. Sleek, fastback design with edgy Cadillac front-end splitter.
Very much so.
Lowered stance with bulging wheel openings. Quad exhaust, spoiler, blacked out lower valance, big fat tires, and awesome wheels. What I liked about it, every stinking thing about it, especially that super exterior design. What could use improvement? Nothing. Don't touch it. Interior, 3 unique interior packages to choose from. We had the two-tone leather throughout, carbon fiber accents with well-laid-out dash, multifunction instrument cluster, and an awesome infotainment system. Cargo and trunk room, well, it's got a small opening. It's okay. It does. I mean, if you want to take long trips with steamer luggage, you're not going to do it in this. Remember, it is a mid-size sedan, not a gigantic boat from years past. What I liked about it, the sporty attitude from Cadillac. I don't know how else to put it. Look at that interior.
Well, that's that whole Blackwing V-Series experience.
Yeah, and what could use improvement? Somebody help me. Here is what I wrote down. I can't think of anything.
A 6-point harness.
If I had unlimited funds, I would buy this car. Somebody asks me all the time, well, what car do you really like? Well, what are you talking about? You know, you're talking about a sports coupe. We're talking about a sedan, an SUV. Well, what are we talking about? Well, when it comes to a four-door sedan, this is the cat's meow. 6.2-liter supercharged V8 with 668 horsepower and 659 pound-feet of torque through a 10-speed automatic transmission. And get this. A 6-speed manual is available on this.
Yay.
It's the only manual that I know of that Chevrolet, General Motors in general makes anymore, but they put it in this car.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I didn't have the manual, but I'll tell you, I don't think I would get the manual.
Did you paddle shift it?
I paddle shifted it, and it's got a button on the steering wheel. It's called V. Press that button, and the instrument cluster lights up red, and it changes the whole parameters
shift pattern.
and everything about the entire car. It comes to attention. And when it makes those shifts through 10 speeds, bam, 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 bam. It ain't messing around. None of that. Dude, it is spot on. Oh, my God.
It hits it.
And it's got, obviously a rev limiter on it.
Did you hit it?
Obviously, a rev limiter means he found it.
And if you use the paddle shifters, just as it hits the rev limiter, it shifts. And the scary part about it is that because it's not my car, and I'm a little bit leery of losing control of the car, even though
with 668 horsepower,
even though it has a traction control on it, it doesn't fix stupid.
Right.
No.
Okay.
Correct.
Doesn't control stupid.
Yep.
13 miles per gallon city and 22 highway. I got about 18 miles per gallon, but most of mine is on the freeways. So you can, if you feather it, why would you feather it? But if you feather it, you can get 18 miles per gallon. But this is all about horsepower and badassness. What I liked about it, the controlled power. What could use improvement? Well, I think that
a 6-point harness and a roll cage.
Probably. But I think along with this Blackwing package, with all that horsepower, I think that really what you need to do is you need to have mandatory track time and with an instructor so you get to know what the car will do and what it won't do and how you can prevent stupid. Ride and handling. Hit the steering wheel monitor V button, and the performance setting comes to attention. What could use improvement? Nothing. Base trim price, $83,995. This one was $99,670. The base price is $84,990. I don't care. It was fine. Competitors. The BMW M5 for $103,500. The Mercedes-Benz AMG GT 53, not the 43, but the 53, $89,900. And the Audi S6 for $73,900. And those are starting prices for those cars.
And the S6 isn't a V8. The S6 is I thought the S6 is a supercharged V6. I'd rather have the V8.
Hello.
No, I sat and rode in the Blackwing, and it's a nice car.
It is.
And I'm a Cadillac guy, and I was in awe.
I got a word that they're coming to pick it up today.
Oh, no.
Over your cold, dead fingers.
That's right. That's
Cold for sure.
Okay, it is time for our next commercial break. and I'm going to try and not mess this up. I'm going to try to make it happen the way that it's supposed to.
We're fine.
The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available from your favorite podcast source. The In Wheel Time Car Show continues right after this quick break. Uh-oh.
2022. It's the premiere of the all-new Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you are invited. Tailpipes and Tacos kicks off a new seasonal format, and first up is the Spring Cruise-In at the Lupi Tortilla in Caddy, 8 to 11 a.m., Saturday, March 19th. Tailpipes and Tacos will award trophies for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic, so make plans now. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in, and this one brings it all together for Spring 2022. You'll enjoy seeing the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, along with Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no fee, and you can automatically compete for custom Lupi trophies. It all happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Caddy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for the all-new Spring Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 19th. Spectators are welcome. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Let's celebrate the arrival of spring and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos, March 19th. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. If you're in charge of your company's small, medium, or large business anywhere in the U.S., let the On Hold Company help you retain customers and promote your business on your telephone system. Promote special sales or company info when placed on hold. The On Hold Company provides custom on-hold messages with professional male or female voices, licensed background music with no long-term contract, no monthly recurring bill, and updates your messages as needed. Call the On Hold Company at 713-223-HOLD or go to onhold.net.